众永远不够多，只怕真相太寂寞。大家好，我是大金，欢迎回到我的频道。在这里呢，我们会一起来看一些那些在网络上面流传一些奇异的、挑战我们认知的一些影片，当然顺便增强一下我们的英语听力。那在开始之前呢，请先帮我订阅、按赞，非常感谢。那我们话不多说，赶快开始吧 ，Let's go！They
can literally call in a UFO.
What?
Crazy stuff. Well, this man, his name was Prophet Yahweh.
Uh-oh. That name. Red flag.
But he claims I've been able to call in these UFOs pretty much my entire life. The news thought it would just be funny to go out there and basically make him look like a fool.
Sure.
The news anchor goes out there and he's like, all right, yeah, let's see it. And he's just like sitting there and I think he just does like a prayer or something. And they're like, oh, is it working? And he goes, yes, right there. And they pull the camera up. There's a literal orb in the sky. And the news anchor's like, okay, and like gets like worried. And then the guy's like, look, another one. Sure enough, another one.
What?
And so this man on video proved that he could call in whatever these things were. I don't think they're very good. It makes me question, because I was in early high school. I'm like, God, I just like want to just see like a sign from you. Sure enough, this star just starts moving. Okay, if you're listening to me, make it disappear. Gone.
Whoa.
And then I asked one more time, the same thing happened. Demons and stuff, they will use signs to deceive. Then you read about in scripture where like Satan is the prince of the air. Of course he's going to make a deception in the sky. So looking back, I'm like, no, I don't know. That was so good. I think it's pretty clear in scripture to not ask for signs.
Signs in the Bible are actually kind of split. It's interesting. It's like Gideon asked for 2 signs and gets them both.
Yeah.
There's an explicit Jesus comment of like, stop asking for signs. A little exhausting when you're like in the flesh with these people and they're constantly like, do one of your tricks.
这个很奇怪，因为最近还有另外一个蛮有名的，就是 Blesso。他的话呢，是他用祈祷的方式会使这种光球出现，然后呢，这些都是有 CIA、FBI 证明的，因为他们有派人到现场去看他召唤 orbs 光球体。这就让人觉得蛮奇怪的，这些光球体到底是想要干嘛？比如说他想要跟我们做朋友的话，那也可以，就是大家可以用心电感应的方式沟通一下，交个朋友，而不是显现在这边表演给你看，蛮奇怪的。Alright.
Here's some things happening around the world outside of the United States. This was a cloud over China recently that looks just like a rainbow feather. This is a picture of a new uncharted island that was discovered this year off the coast of Antarctica. And it looks like if you get there on time, you could just claim it for yourself. South Korea's military is struggling with plastic surgery from Gen Z soldiers. This is a growing trend for South Korean soldiers, fueled by rising military pay and then the aggressive marketing that the clinics are doing. It's causing operational disruptions where one soldier even was excluded from training when he returned from leave because he came back with an unhealed nose job. This is triggering resentment among the other soldiers who have to cover their workload while their recovering soldier friends receive special accommodations. A man in China had a metal chopstick removed from his throat after swallowing it while drinking 8 years prior. He decided to live with it because he didn't want to have surgery, but now that it was removed, it was revealed that his vocal cords had not been harmed at all.
哇塞，一整根筷子插在喉咙8年哦，怎么睡觉啊？ Alright.
They did it again. They scanned the most impossible temple in the world to prove that big archaeology knows absolutely nothing, uncovering unexplainable tool marks in some of the hardest natural rock known to man that we can't even achieve with our modern tools today. If you thought the pyramids were impressive, this is about to run circles around you. This is Kailasa Temple in India, and it wasn't even built. It was carved out of the side of a mountain. This entire temple is essentially one solid piece of rock that they worked around to create a functional monolithic complex with the most detail in anything you've ever seen, along with unique acoustic properties where the slightest hum reverberates into a body vibrating chant. Thought to be intended for sound healing purposes, sorta like an ancient hospital, or possibly even the construction method used to build this, as well as functioning drainage and carefully engineered ventilation systems, which were all carefully thought out as part of the original design, not something they just added on after. Mathematically and artistically perfect pillars that stand over 100 feet tall that they would have had to dig around to create, all in an area as big as a football field, going 100 feet straight down at its deepest point. Mind you, they did this all as a single piece of rock carved into a mountain. mountain, meaning there was no room for error. Just like sculpting a statue out of marble, if they messed up, they'd have to start all over again, removing an estimated total 400,000 tons of rock, more than the entire weight of the Empire State Building, which no one can explain because all of that rock just disappeared. We have no idea where they put it, and there are no traces of it anywhere. 400,000 tons is a lot of rock to just go missing. This is just one of many among India's mysterious Ellora caves. Over 30 temples, all of which were carved into the side of the mountain. What makes Kailasa different from the rest was that it was built from the top down, defying all rules of conventional architecture. Simply put, the way this temple was built is by every sense of the word unexplainable. Historians will tell you it was built sometime around 756 to 773 AD, but as always, that's just an estimate. In fact, it's a terrible estimate, even less accurate than the timeline of the pyramids, as the main source of dating for this temple were land grants. Exactly 2 land grants, inscribed into copper plates that were found hundreds of miles away. These copper plates acted as official documents of legal ownership deeds back in their day, and all these plates did was glaze their king Krishna I for commissioning the construction of the temple, which would have dated it sometime around the 8th century AD. But the plates also contain inscriptions that boast the temple was so breathtaking that even the gods flying overhead stopped in their celestial chariots to admire it. Gods flying overhead? Celestial chariots? I wonder what they were referring to over here.
感觉真的是有可能我们经历了好几次的文明，然后也许不是只有一次，比如说我们讲的亚特兰提斯，那或者是这个印度的这个，有可能他们甚至不在同一条时间线上，有可能是前次的文明，上次的文明，然后就是这样子，文明毁灭再重启，毁灭再重启。我们有没有办法文明一直持续下去？几万年的文明，然后我们就可以慢慢的进步升等。All right.
Can spirituality help the brain age slower? Now, this is not something woo-woo in our heads, but science is showing us that having a strong sense of purpose and a desire to help other people positively impacts our health as we age. A recent study wanted to understand why some people's brains aged faster than others and what we can do to protect against that. And they found 2 important factors deeply connected to spirituality. Like and follow for more content like this. This one is eudaimonia, which is an ancient Greek philosophy Aristotle used to describe a life of meaning, purpose, and genuine flourishing. Not just happiness or pleasure, but a deep feeling that your life actually matters. Where research shows that people with higher levels of purpose in their life not only had less stress and anxiety, but biologically reduced levels of pro-inflammatory genes being expressed in their bodies. And the second factor is wisdom, which is connected to emotional regulation, the desire to help other people, and the ability to hold multiple perspectives at once. And this is not the same as intelligence, where it has no consistent relationship to loneliness, but wisdom inversely does. You can be the smartest person in the room, yet still feel profoundly isolated. This is where wisdom is your capacity to connect to other people. The science shows that your brain has the capacity to become wiser. By doing deep reflection and having more compassion, your brain is recruiting new circuits to build new connections and generating new neurons. So spirituality is associated with slower brain aging. Eudaimonia gives you your why and how that sense of meaning and purpose literally is turning off pro-inflammatory genes. Gives you the how, where emotional regulation, compassion, and the desire to help others helps your brain build new connections and neurons. Ancient traditions have talked about this for thousands of years, where your inner life is not separate from your physical health. Spirituality is one of the most powerful forms of medicine that we've been underutilizing.
Sense of purpose. All right.
Are you noticing things happening to your bodies that you can't explain? A lot of people talk about it. Sometimes they have things with their heart, they have things with their blood pressure, they have dizziness, they have things with their body, and they go to the doctor and the doctor can't find anything wrong with them. It all has to do with the energy changing in the body, and the frequencies are changing, and our bodies are trying to adjust to it. That's why it has to be done slowly. You couldn't just suddenly do this. The bodies couldn't handle it. So our bodies have to shift with it slowly and adjust. And maybe it'll take one little jump, and at that time we'll feel something in our body. And then we have to have a time of adjustment before it does it again. Now, everyone, they talk about the ones left behind. Everyone's not going to be able to make the vibrational jump. And I said, that sounds cruel. He said, some will be left behind. I said, that sounds cruel. And they said, no, it's not. They all had the same opportunity as everybody else. They couldn't change their life. They couldn't change their way of thinking, their way of living. They aren't going to be able to change the frequency that quick. So they will be left with the old earth. And they said, it's okay. You know, that's their choice and that's their life.
有意思的说法。那这个呢，就是 Dolores Cannon 他对地球现在正在提升这个频率的这个一个说法哦。那第一次来我频道的朋友呢，这个 Dolores Cannon 他专精的是一种叫做 QHHT， 就是量子疗愈催眠技术的这种治疗方式。所以说他这个多年的经验跟资料的收集哦，他就是塑造了一个蛮完整的一个他的这个宇宙观哦。然后呢，他后来出的书啊，都是有关于一些比如说生死啊、轮回啊，甚至是像诺查丹马斯的预言啊、灵魂之类的东西哦。所以说我们会继续的在之后呢看一看他揭露的这些内容哦，都蛮有意思的哈。All right。Guys,
Americans are realizing something that the rest of the world has known for decades, and it's absolutely breaking their brains.
My tiny American brain is just now starting to figure out how insanely massive soccer is for the rest of the world except for us.
You see, before the US co-hosted the World Cup, for some Americans,
soccer occupied the same category in my mind as cricket and Eurovision.
Others thought that good old David was a freeloader.
You're telling me that David Beckham actually made his millions from soccer, not from Spice Girls?
And a few are starting to ask the important questions.
Soccer is like what, once every 4 years? So like within those 4 years until like what, 2030, what do all the soccer players do?
But now everything has changed. And you know the one thing that has finally made it click for them? It wasn't really the enormous crowds, the record-breaking attendance, or even watching the games themselves. It was the Instagram followers. The language all Americans are fluent in. They saw that players like Salah, for example, who is amazing but has never even cracked the top 3 of the Ballon d'Or, has a casual 66 million followers. All while the NFL's absolute GOATs like Tom Brady, 15.5 million. And you know, if we are talking GOATs, in comparison, Messi and Ronaldo have nearly 1.2 billion followers combined. And just to really put football's scale in perspective, Cape Verde's goalkeeper, who had less than 50,000 followers before this World Cup, now almost doubles Tom Brady. Bro had to play 22 years, while Vozinha got this following after just 4 games.
I'm starting to realize we've been brainwashed. Sure, soccer's pretty.
所以对啊，足球在美国啊，完全就是被篮球打压，所以他讲的真的是正中下怀。美国人根本不知道不在意足球这个东西，一直到他们看到了他们的 IG follower 有多少人追踪，才知道哇，原来他们很大咖。好可怜哦。Alright， 那今天的影片就先到这里啦。如果喜欢这些影片的话，不要忘记帮我订阅、按赞，非常感谢。我们下次见 ，Have a good one， 拜拜。